If you want to see me swatch the Nubian by Juvia's Place, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène, and we are going to swatch the Royal We, the Nubian palette by Juvia's Place. And I've had a little bit of a hiccup. I had swatched this palette prior to depotting it. I'll put the depotting video right here. And obviously it is no longer in its packaging, but I do have it in a magnetic palette, which I will show you right now. I have the 12 pan palette right here. Row 1, row 2, and the third row right here. So it is 12 pans. I apologize for not being able to swatch it in the packaging, but if you will recall, or if you haven't heard yet, I had some major computer issues. I have a video on that topic if you want to know more, but I may have lost the footage throughout that ordeal. So I am going to re-swatch it for you because it is a reference for me, and I think it's a reference for you anytime I do use a palette that I have swatched before. I can link to it. You can see the shadows in the swatches, which we already know is different from what shows up in the pan. And actually the first time around, I had definitely noticed some differences between what showed up in the pan and what showed up in the swatches. And I was delighted because for some of you, you may find that these shadows are rather boring, right? Just as we look in the pan, but I guarantee you there are a few surprises. So I have my clean fingers, I have my swatching forearm ready to go. Actually, I'm going to get my sleeve up a little bit more. And if you're curious about my nail polish, you can take a look at the latest Ciate Mini Mani month and you can find out all about it. Also, anything on my face and on my fingers you can find in the description box of this video. Okay, so let's get to swatching. So I'm going to go into the first row. So these four right here from left to right. It is fun to dip my fingers back in these shadows. I was just reluctant to do that. I thought, oh, it's gonna show up at some point, this missing footage. I looked through all my memory cards. I looked throughout my computer. It ain't there. So, okay, so we've got the first four. My hands are very dry, but we're gonna go with it. It is winter here. So here's number 1. Now, if I recall, there were no names. So I'm going to refer to them by number. Number 1, and that, do you see how it's already, there's something extra to this shadow? It looks matte in the pan, but it is definitely not. This is number 2. Very much orangey, almost like a tangerine. Number 3. And number 4. Oh yeah, haha. I remember this one. Okay, so that is the first pass. Hopefully you can see the complexity of the colors and the fingers. Look at this one, right? Love it. Okay, we're going to do a second pass. That first one is definitely my favorite, so let's go for the second pass. Hopefully if you didn't see the complexity, it'll come through for you at this the second pass. And then we've got that tangerine color, kind of a beige, almost like a camel color, I guess. And then this is a tacky shimmer. I don't think it's a duochrome. After you take a look at it, I will look at it myself more closely. I don't know if you can see, okay, maybe you can see the shift in color on that first one. I'm hoping you can see it. Just gonna tap, oh, should use the right finger. I'm gonna tap this down. Yeah, it's from a tangerine to a frosted pink, this one right here. So I'm hoping it shows up on camera. It's not really showing up in the viewfinder, but, and here go the fingers one last time. All right, so that is the first of 3 rows of 4. I'm just going to wipe my fingers and we'll get into the second row. Okay, here we go. This is the second row from left to right that I will be swatching. And again, I was pleasantly surprised the first time I did this swatches video. And so I knew it would be fun. A lot more fun than I thought the first time around. I thought these were just going to be, it was going to be like a companion palette to other Juvia's Place palettes, and I was wrong. There's more to this palette. Okay, so I'm scooting forward. All right, so we'll go with the fifth color. There's definitely more depth to this middle row. Oh yeah, that was one swipe. You saw that? And the pinky. Okay, so this one, except, well, this one makes me think, a lot of shadows seem to make me think of that color, but I'm going to say it anyway. Makes me think of Sissy from the Jaclyn Hill palette. And the other ones are, one of these makes me think a little bit of the Theory Siren, Theory 7 Siren from Busy Art. So I think I'm just ready to go and do the second go at these, and I will show you the fingers. I think you can see the pink in this one, right? Pink and gold? Or peach, pink and peach? Yeah. All right. Gosh, my hands are dry. Winter is rough here. It really is. I live in Winterpeg, and it's dry. Once the temperature goes down enough, it gets pretty dry. Okay, second go. And so I can't make a mistake here. There we go. The fifth shadow, sixth. We're doing okay here. Just intensifying the color a little bit. I can definitely see this, even if it's deeper, I can see that as an inner to center lid color, I really can. And that first one, the shimmers sometimes you have to pat down, it's just the reality of the thing. So what do you think? Just seems like a medium deep row of pretty solid, but still I would call them kind of predictable colors. To me, the biggest surprise so far is this one. This one in the pan looks matte, and it is definitely not. And here are the fingers again. And to me, the fingers sometimes look more like what it's going to show up on the eye if you use your finger for application, because of course our eye is round, it's not flat. Yeah, and when I look at that first shadow in the pan, it just does not look like it has that kind of oomph that shows up on the skin. But yeah, I'm okay with the second row. Again, I think they're very nice colors for a neutral look, which is fine. Now we're going to go into the deepest row, which is this one. It's the appetizer, the first course, and now the main course, the second course, or the meat. We're getting into the deeper colors here. So I'm going to go 9, 10, 11, 12 for the pans in the palette. So we're really in the third row. I'm going to wipe my fingers because I didn't do that yet. And I have enough room on that forearm of mine to do the last 4. Usually I think I have room for about 15 swatches or pans to swatch. Okay, we have a true matte here. It's a mixture of mattes and shimmers. Yeah, 2 definite mattes in here. Okay, so here are the fingers, and let's get to swatching. That doesn't show up. Oh yeah, it's kind of a maroon. All right. And then we've got the second one in the third row. This one's disappointing, but a matte doesn't usually swatch well the first time. Where was this brown in my last quad of the month? If you haven't seen that video, I'll put it right here. I had kind of a disappointing matte in that one. Spoiler alert. And that's the other matte that of course needs to be built up, but they're both relatively smooth, so that's all right. Oh, I didn't really show you the swatches that much, but because 2 of the 4 need so much building up, I didn't think it was worth it to kind of linger on that first set. Okay, there's half the fingers done. Getting there. And the last one. Okay, so the fingers again, and let's do those last 4 again. Okay, so much richer, and this one has a satin finish, but definitely no real shimmer to it, just a satin finish, which is very pretty. And there's that first of the 2 mattes. It's like a camel color, really. And the other, I guess, is satin again, I would call it. It's very smooth, very nice. It's a nice kind of chocolatey brown. And then this one has some great undertones, this last matte. And it's definitely not a black. It's just more of a, I don't know, a charcoal gray, I guess, with some brown in it. And because it's the pinky, I'm just going to do that matte one last time, because my pinky is like 2/3 of the area that is the other fingers. So I'm just going to give it a chance one more time. Just to give it a little bit more product, because it got shorted. There we go. So I think that that would be enough to deepen the outer lid for a variety of skin tones. Maybe not all, but some for sure. And I'm not upset about this set of 12. I think there's more variety again than I think shows up in the pan. Let me just give you a very close up for the whole thing. Hopefully I'm not going too quickly. And I got the Nubian specifically as a companion palette to other Juvia's Place palettes, but I think that if you are a neutral lover, I think that you can definitely do a lot of looks with this as a standalone palette, no question. I think that the shadows they're all looking like good, solid quality, as we have come to expect from Juvia's Place. As a matter of fact, this was one of the first, if not the first, palette they ever released. And of course, it makes sense to release a neutral because more people will feel comfortable using it. And it's a very wide variety of colors, from being able to use it if you're very fair to quite deep toned, which is the whole point of Juvia's Place. Owned by a woman of color, as far as I understand. I've never met her. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with these. This one is very shiny, very blingy. And nothing more to say. I do look forward to using this palette on my channel. And as you can tell, I like bling. So that whatever it is, that fourth shadow, I definitely would have no trouble using. Let me know what you think of the swatches. Let me know what you think of the palette itself. Is it one of your favorites? Assuming you've tried it. If you haven't tried it, are you intending to? I would love to hear your thoughts on the Nubian by Juvia's Place. Let me just show you the package again. Here it is. So yeah, let me know what you think of the swatches, what you think of the product, as I mentioned, and if you have any tips or suggestions as far as the shadow combinations. What have you tried and what have you loved? That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it every single time. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.